At the moment, Bitcoin is worth $86,000 and XRP is worth $24. What is going on is the big question. What's going on? What is the main thing that is causing this demand to sell? There are a lot of things I want to talk about in this movie, but one thing stands out to me. They want us out. Who are they? There are big Wall Street players among them who want to buy cheaper. They want to really shake the tree. That's been the case so far. A lot of people are now becoming very sour on X. I saw a post, which I will show you on the screen in a moment. But first, I'd like to talk about a few things. As promised, let's begin with Bitcoin. Today was the weekly candle close for all cryptocurrencies, and it wasn't a bad weekly candle close for Bitcoin. We closed on Bitcoin right on time at about 90.7K. We are still on support, but we sold off since then. Now, what I'm really interested in here is trends from the past. I don't want to say for sure that we'll do the same thing over here that we did in March and April, when the market had a small chance to turn around. Well, that caused us to sell off, make a lower low, and then go back up. I don't want to say that trend will be repeated exactly because it won't be, right? There won't be an exact repeat of that, but it might be a lot like the first time. I think I've said it a lot of times now. I don't think we're going to a bear market. You should know, though, that 2025 was a pretty bad year for crypto. A few crypto projects like XRP hit a new high in July. Overall, it's been a steady pattern of lower highs and lower lows. We can tell from this that 2025 will be a pretty bad year for crypto, but I don't think that will continue into 2026, especially since most of the big problems with crypto are now being fixed, which means that liquidity, which we've already talked about, is returning. The 4-year cycle is all the rage right now. That being said, they don't understand what's really causing the 4-year cycle, which is liquidity. We know that starting in December, prices will start to go down when liquidity starts to constrict and shrink a bit. That means that today or tomorrow, liquidity will start to get better. Now, it's a factor that's behind. It doesn't happen right away. A lot of people say things like, dates don't matter because the price never, jumps. But we're not talking about short-term price jumps. We're not talking about times that are exactly in line with how prices are moving. The times we're talking about are in line with changes in the financial world that could lead to better factors, that could lead to better price action or liquidity. Now, it's clear that XRP also had a big drop. It's been interesting to talk about some important topics. When it comes to XRP, the daily view was the most important thing. Resistance has been in the way of XRP trades for a while now, right around $222. This resistance level has been broken several times by the close of daily candles. Now we're seeing the big sell-off. Still, what was the main thing that caused the price to change? We already know that China said something. That's it, Justin. China's central bank confirmed that cryptocurrencies are illegal and said it would crack down even harder on stable coins. There are several funny things about this that I'll talk about in a moment. First, let's look at how much crypto is worth on the market. Yes, there was a small drop in the overall value of all cryptocurrencies, and today there was just a small drop below $3 trillion. This was caused by liquidations, of course. I don't think they have a heat map of closure here, but I know that some websites have heat maps that you can use. However, the main thing I'm interested in is the fact that we're still scared. We're now at about 24 fear. A little over $3 trillion is what crypto is worth on the market. It's back below $90,000, and everyone thinks this is the end. I think I saw a post from James Wynn. You already know that James Wynn has turned into something of a joke in the space. But a lot of people are in the same group that James is in right now. This is the bearish group, and I'm pretty sure we're somewhere between worry and denial. Fear will come next. I think that will bring us down to my first price target of 67,000, which was the all-time high for the last cycle. Having said that, I do think we will drop as low as the 40s or 50s. He thinks we're in the phase of anxiety and denial right now. It's kind of crazy because, once more, everyone is trying to guess what will happen in this market and make sure it fits perfectly with past markets. This time, though, liquidity has changed a lot, which means the time period is different. It changes how this cycle is set up in general. But, the main thing we've been seeing is a lot of bad news and news stories with gloomy headlines. It has to do with the trade war and tariffs, right? Since the beginning of 2025, there have only been bad news stories. Actually, there was a lot of good news in that too, but the price changes and bad news have kind of made the good news stand out less. Now, I think it's funny that China is banning crypto again because of what happened in 2020 and 2021. By the way, it goes all the way back to 2013. Let's go back to 2013 now. Banks could not use Bitcoin. 2014, a false report said that China would ban Bitcoin. 2017, Local exchanges will close. 2019, miners should be careful. 2021, a state-owned bank will not accept Bitcoin transactions. China also doesn't allow people to sell cryptocurrency. The government cut off Bitcoin miners' power. Then we saw the State Council of China again ban cryptocurrency mining. Chinese search engines block exchanges. Websites and social media for well-known blockchains are shut down. All transactions involving crypto are against the law. Again, China has tried many times, especially in 2020, to ban blockchain and crypto. I think it was India, not China, that banned Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in 2020. India kept saying, oh well, we're banning Bitcoin and crypto, we want to get rid of this stuff. It seemed like a new thing was written about this every month. And again, we all know what happened back in 2020 into 2021. We saw one of the biggest bull runs in history. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to see the same exact thing, but I'm just saying that when we start to see headlines like this, I start to look at, the past, and I see what happened when we saw these types of headlines with the fear that we see in the market. Now, on top of that, this led to Bitcoin dropping over $4,000, which led to, of course, mass liquidations. I've said it time and time again, stop playing with pressure. Leverage is just ridiculous in this game. You do not need it at all. If you don't know what you're doing, play with spots. Even people that do know what they're doing, they are getting drained. Over $400 million worth of leverage longs were liquidated over the last 60 minutes. By the way, this got even worse with over $200+ million worth of longs getting sold, and then we saw $40 billion wiped out of crypto in a matter of hours. Again, this is all over the weekend, by the way. Why is that a big focus? Because again, weekend price action is so much easier to control than price action during the week. On the weekend, we don't have to do anything. During the week, we are still tied back to stocks. We're still kind of following stocks in a sense. Since prices move a lot over the weekend, it's a great time to manipulate them. Along with that, we saw futures for the US stock market fall because of the huge drop in crypto. Well, the market value is now back below 3 trillion, which is what we talked about. But once more, this is hurting every market. Still, everyone is starting to feel scared. It's like going back and forth. We see that one day we're back and the next it's over. And it's been going on like that for more than 10 months now. I don't think it will really slow down until we change the key levels. But this fight has gone back and forth. The most important thing right now, and something I've been paying attention to, is XRP. This is because almost every major sell-off in XRP so far in November has been directly linked to the launch of an ETF for XRP.